What's up guys, Nibori here. I know I was going to give you guys an update on what happened to my dog, the whole situation with that mess, and a little bit more information on my trip back to the United States. The last video was kind of just a recap, give you guys a little bit of news of what's going on, what I'm doing with the esports team and all of that. I'm really excited about that, and if you guys haven't checked it out, I'll leave the link down below for that. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But let's get to it. So you may or may not have known, maybe you guys have been back for a little bit and been hiding in the shadows, but if you haven't known, I was in Mexico for a year and a half, and we just got back. I'm here in the United States, back in North Carolina, and it was a crazy trip to get the dog, and it was such a headache, man. Such a wild ride, such an emotional ride to actually make this happen. And I'm so glad it worked out, but wild getting everything situated with coming back to the States, because I didn't have much time because my visa was running out to be in Mexico. I had a 6-month visa. You could always come back to the States and renew it to go back to Mexico. They're pretty cool about that. And the thing that also was the issue, was that my lease on my apartment I was renting there was eventually going to get gone around the same time my visa was going to expire. So I had to plan around that, whether I was going to stay in Mexico longer or not. So with that being said, I had very limited time. So it was either come back to the States and stay, or continue my visa and my rental for my apartment. So the thing with the visa, you have to come back into the States for a day and then go back into Mexico when you can renew it. So we had to make a decision about that and things like that. But obviously I'm back in the States, so that happened. So I had to plan on getting a dog crate to fly the dog and a ticket and pay for the dog to get the flight as well. Because it's very interesting. My dog's too big to have actually in the actual plane. It had to be under the plane, so we had to make reservations for that, but we had to make sure that the plane was able to take the dog too, and it had to be a certain time that it wasn't too hot for the dog, because if it's too hot on the tarmac, they won't take the dog because the dogs can die, and obviously that's good to know too. So I made the reservations for the flight, and we were all ready. I had to actually take a 3-hour bus ride to the next city, which was Guadalajara, and we went there, and so the dog was under the bus. So it was a 3-hour bus trip. Dog had to be under the bus. Yeah, it was cool and everything, climate control down there, so she was fine, and she probably slept down there. I didn't hear her bark or anything. So we had to do that. Got to the Guadalajara airport. I get to the desk, and they said, hey, you can't take your dog in this plane. I'm like, what? Are you serious? And a little bit of backstory on that. I called the previous day and made sure that my dog could get on the plane. They're like, yeah, no problem. It's not an issue. We can do it. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, this plane can do it, because I know the requirements. And they were like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, okay. Got there, and they said, you can't take the dog. So I was freaking out, bro. Freaking out. So I went to talk to the manager. They're like, yeah, we can't do anything about it. It's because of the plane. It's not big enough. It doesn't have the right things in there. There's no, I guess, oxygen in the bottom of the plane for that airplane. I'm like, what the? So we dealt with that. I went to every carrier there, and they said the same thing. They're like, no, we can't. Sorry. And then they're like, hey, can you try with the freight stuff? So we went to 3 different freights to carry the dog, and they said that they couldn't do it. They could only do through Mexico. They couldn't do to the United States. I'm like, God damn. So I had to get a ride back to the bus station. I had about 7 minutes to get a bus, because the next one wouldn't be for another 3 hours. I rushed to get it, rushed on the bus, got the dog on the bus, and went back to Aguascalientes, okay? So I had to wait another day and scramble to redo my bus, redo my plane ticket, and all of that mess. So I got back there, called the plane place, and they're like, oh, we're so sorry, can't believe that happened. Mind you, I had to call like 20 times to get the right person, to be honest. So, with that happening, had to do that, and it was insane. Insane. But, here's the crazy part of that. I had to actually go to Mexico City this time, because they would have the big enough plane to take the dog and be able to do it. So I had to reschedule that. Mind you, the bus trip to Mexico City was over 7 hours long, and had to make that trip. So that sucked. So the dog had to be under the bus for 7 hours. We did it in the morning, got there, and then I had to wait at the Mexico City airport for 9 hours. Me and my dog waited outside of the Mexico City airport and just hung out there. I took her out of her crate. We walked around a bit, just chilled, had some water for her, some food, and we just hung out there outside of the airport until it was their time. About an hour and a half before the flight, could check her in and get that done. They were very helpful with that, and that was not an issue at all, but the long wait was the biggest problem. Mind just to say, I had to pick up my dog after that flight from Mexico City to, I think it was LA. Got to LA, and I had to take my dog out. We had to wait another 5 hours or so, and I just had to, feed her, give her some water, and it was crazy because I didn't have much time to get her in the next airplane, so I had to do all that. Oh, God. I had to pick her up from customs, put her back into customs, and do all this mess for her. And you guys are going to be like, hey, did you have to get papers for her and stuff? Yeah, we went to the vet a week prior, and the vet had to give us, vaccinations and things like that, the next ones to travel, and approval that she had a good bill of health. After that, got to North Carolina and had to wait to pick her up. My brother picked me up, and it was a long trip. It was over 28 hours altogether trip-wise. Probably more than that if you count the previous day when we had to go to Guadalajara. But it was just a crazy headache to get my dog back, and it was a million times worth it. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to you guys too. I know a lot of you guys donated on the Twitch live stream to help get my dog back, and I appreciate you guys. I probably wouldn't have been able to get her back without that, so thank you guys so much. She thanks you, I thank you, and wild. Now, if you guys don't know the backstory about my dog, I found her in Mexico. I made a joke when I first moved there. I was like, I'm gonna get a street dog. I'm gonna get a street dog, and just made a joke about it. I kid you not, a couple weeks later, I found this dog super hungry, super skinny, looking for food by a trash bin. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sit by her and see if she's cool. Came back over, gave her a little food, and she chilled with me ever since. And she's been by my side ever since. She's such a good dog. And, we got her back to bill of health, everything. And the cool thing about in Mexico is they'll do neutering and spaying for free because, dwindle down the population of street dogs and things like that. And that was really cool of them. And much love to you guys. I appreciate you. And I know you guys wanted a little recap and some news on my dog and what happened with her. And yeah, now I got a Mexican dog. She's badass. And speaking of badass, she's literally been walking by my side this whole time we've been filming this. And she's chilling. That's a little dog butt there. Moro. Oh, where's the camera? Good girl. What's up, buddy? If you guys want to see more vlog style videos, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like and, like I said, a comment if you guys want to see more. And yeah, you guys are going to see some more of Moro and myself. And I hope you guys enjoyed that story, as stressful as it was. Peace out.